Welcome to Season 6 of the Talking Lead AK KORNER, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp USA.
All right.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me?
Getting feedback.
Freaking, like in the words of a great humanitarian, Ali G. A bloody technology.
Bloody technology?
Technology, yes.
I'm terrible with technology.
Yo booyah.
All right, AK Corner heads, we are back with another episode of the Talking Lead podcast, AK Corner edition, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp. This is our May edition, and you may be expecting tanks this episode, which is what we advertised, but we had to postpone that, and that's going to be coming at you in a couple of months from now. So sorry if you're disappointed that we're not be talking about tanks, but we will bring you tanks in one of the episodes. But I think we've got an even better, more interesting show for you lead heads for this month's edition. We're going to be talking about myths, misconceptions, wives' tales, and urban legends about the AK-47. So I didn't have an opportunity to make a post to ask questions on this, so I apologize. We do have giveaways this episode, and I'll pick them randomly somehow, some way. We're going to be giving away some Seal 1, the Seal 1 kit, Seal 1 and Done, and Mission First Tactical dump tray with the Season 6 AK Corner logo and the Pioneer Arms logo for Mission First Tactical. We'll be giving one of those away. And then I'm sure CJ will want to give away like a little swag pack with a hat, patch, whatnot. So coming up, we've got NRA. Just want everybody to know, as you're listening to this, we're probably at NRA. So if you're at NRA, come by our booth, 11531, the Pioneer Arms Corps booth. And we'll be giving away a gun a day. A gun every day. And I think he said 2 PM63s, Marco, he was going to give away. And possibly a Hell Pup. And, I mean, you just never know because it's Crazy J. Marco, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but
okay.
I was nodding my head. I was going like this.
Yeah, that translates well with video. Not audio, but that's good. That's good. So last episode, Marco, we talked about. Do you remember our last episode? Last month?
I do. Never recall what I had for dinner last night. But you can. Yeah, I didn't study for this podcast today, so.
Well, we didn't have time to study for this podcast, but it's just going to be general knowledge of.
No, I mean, what did we talk about last time?
I wasn't here, so I have no idea.
We talked about, and I'm bringing it up now. Because I forgot what we talked about.
Well, she did. Yeah. Oh my God!
We talked about magazines.
You don't remember either, Marty.
Feeling bad.
Magazines.
Magazines. Okay.
I was gonna give you the hint.
Give me the hint. There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, my brain has been fried. Been trying to switch gears between tanks to this episode to get ready for NRA. But yes, magazines, and that was a very good episode. We got a lot of good feedback on that. And we gave away the Pioneer Arms Corps, the not underfolder. Yeah, it was an underfolder 22, wasn't it?
Yep.
Cool.
And
Yeah, and Marco said that's the first 22 underfolder he's ever seen. So
I don't think I've ever seen one until that came out either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a huge success if Pioneer Arms offers it as a regular, like a regular
offering
item in their product lineup.
Yeah, I think they'll sell a ton of those. Just the fact that they've got a full blown 22 caliber AK-47 is is huge. I think those are going to sell really well too. Just happened I got one right here. Got mine. I know you got one of these too. You got a wood one. But the one he gave away, it had the rail system on it up front, and then it was the underfolder. So it was really cool. And I think it was the Grom model. So it had the pin and welded faux suppressor on there and everything. So yeah, it was really cool. But you never know with CJ what he's going to give away. So you gotta listen to the show. You got to participate, and that's how you win, because you never know what we're going to be giving away here. So
the multi-mount is a simple yet flexible platform that allows you to conveniently mount your everyday items wherever you may need them. A rugged 1.5-inch belt locks into the mount, allowing the attachment of any item that uses a clip or belt loop. With a quick release tab, you can easily swap out essential gear as needed. Ideal for mounting comms, tourniquets, lights, firearms, and more. The options are almost limitless. The platform comes with 2 backer options, either 3M adhesive or cook backing, giving you adaptability and endless options on where you can mount your needed items. Access your essential equipment in your preferred configuration. Carry what you need, where you need, with our multi-mount platform, available now.
For your exclusive Talking Lead listener discount, use the code LEADHEAD for 20% off at checkout.
this episode, like I said, we're going to be doing some myths, misconceptions, wives' tales, and urban legends on the AK-47. So, and I think we'll kick it off with maybe the biggest, probably known myth about the AK-47, which, in my opinion, I think is probably the biggest myth, is that the AK-47 is not accurate.
Nah, that's not the biggest one. I'm sorry.
The biggest one is indestructible.
That it's indestructible?
No, also not the biggest one. The biggest one, you got to go back to its conception and say that the AK-47 freaking Kalashnikov just copied Hugo Schmeisser STG44.
That is a big one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of it all. And again, the funny thing about it is, so this thing has been, and I understand not everybody is a gunsmith and not everybody works with guns and not everybody's a mechanical engineer and understands how systems and mechanisms operate and stuff. And they simply look at the stuff without employing like this part of the brain, which actually makes them think and stuff, and then they're seeing it, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm now like on the highest authority. I'm telling you, it's this, they copied it. But in reality, you start picking it apart, and you'll find out that STG44's got more similarities with AR rather than AK.
And I'm just pulling up a picture as you're talking about it there, Marco.
Right. The only similarity that you see there, that it's got a pistol grip, box magazine, high front sight, which any gas operated weapon with the gas engine sitting over the barrel gonna have to have, and then wooden stock, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But
inside is completely different.
Not only that, I mean, STG was stamped, right? The AK-47 was milled. STG 44, you pull the pin just like the same way you do on AR, and your lower receiver separates from upper receiver, right? And swings on the front pin just like the AR. Right. Then you look at the bolt carrier, where AR's direct impingement system, which is one of the systems that exists in the gas-operated semi or full automatic weapons. You got a bolt carrier both on the AK and on the STG. Both of them's got the long stroke, which is again one of the systems that employed by numerous guns around the world. But where the similarities end is where the STG bolt locks after chambering the round, locks by tilting, and AK is by rotating with two logs into the trunnion.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing is the way that magazine is retained. It's a mag well, just like an AR, and it's retained by the side latch, whereas the AK has a receptacle for a magazine that is not a protruding magazine well, but it's a lateral retention, and the spring, recoil spring, is obviously different.
Yeah.
And everything else. It's like one by one, picking it by. So it's two different systems. So starting from the receiver, which is all-encompassing receiver on the AK, and the two separate receivers on the STG. But even the window, the ejection port, curtain or shutter or whatever, a cover on the STG is very similar to that of the AR.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that is probably a very good misconception, urban legend, that the AK was based off or is very similar to the STG44. I mean, it's just completely erroneous.
Correct.
And we've
now,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Andy.
I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, you've heard that for years, but I mean, you can look back at any gun designers. Everybody builds off of what's been made previous to it. And yeah, did Mikhail Kalashnikov maybe borrow an idea or a part of that gun? Sure. But he borrowed ideas and parts from lots of other guns, just like Browning did, just like every other gun designer did. But just say, yeah, you're right, Marco. Just people say it all the time. Oh, he just copied the German gun, blah, 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 which is completely inaccurate and definitely one of the biggest misconceptions about the AK out there.
Well, another thing is, but there are similarities in the personalities of, let's say, Hugo Schmeisser. Not the personalities, but background of Hugo Schmeisser and Mikhail Kalashnikov. Neither one of them actually went to college to become the weapons designers. Although later, prior to AK, I guess, the final stages of it, they actually forced Kalashnikov to go to school, whereas Schmeisser never did. And when he was captured by the Soviets after World War II and was sent to Izhevsk to work, in the way of reparations, to work for the Izhmash, that's when this rumor started. By that time, but what they have to realize, the first trials for AKs type rifles actually happened in 1944, and production of early AK-47s as already adopted version of of rifle, it was actually done in Kovrov factory, hundreds of miles away from Izhevsk, where Hugo Schmeisser was actually working, and in 1952 is when they sent Schmeisser back home, released him pretty much. That's when the production of AKs actually moved to Izhevsk.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, so you guys can go back and listen to some of our previous episodes with Marco. He goes into some more details about that. But yeah, that is a very big myth about the AK. What do you have anything else to add to that?
Well, I mean, supposedly Schmeisser was this. First of all, he was for the lack of a better word, and you don't rag on people who's gone already, but let's say he wasn't a very nice person as a person. So he was, even the engineers, German engineers that worked with him, uh, many times on many occasions cited that he was just an asshole. And they're constantly whining and so on and so on, why he's not getting paid the same as the other engineers. And simply because in Soviet Union there was a pay scale based on your education. So if you did go to school, college per se, you would be naturally getting more money in your salary as opposed to a person who hasn't. And Schmeisser didn't. But he would spend his weekends in the local parks with his family. He was allowed to move with him. He would go on a 30-day vacation to Black Sea all 7 years that he's been captured in Soviet Union. And he had his own apartment, not some kind of barrack and stuff. And in many cases, he was actually earning a higher salary than his Russian counterparts that he worked with. So, and then, like I mentioned in a previous episode about the magazines, is that the only similarity that I can find between the STG and the later AKM magazines, rifle system magazines, kind of had similar reinforcing ribs stamped into the sides of it, because before that the Russians had those slab-sided heavy gauge steel magazines. And later in his life, when he was being interviewed by somebody, and they asked him about the AK, did you help him to build the AK? And he kind of he answered, well, I gave him some pointers.
So he's trying to squeeze in a little credit somewhere, huh?
Yeah.
Trying to take credit.
Yeah.
But
I would say.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I was going to get ready to throw down the next one. I thought. Sorry.
All right. What's the next one on your list there?
I mean, on my list, and something that you hear all the time from people who think they know about AKs but don't really, is, oh, you can just bang an AK together with a claw hammer in a cave.
Good one.
I hear that shit all the time. And as someone who's been in manufacturing on the AK platform, AKs are hard as shit to build right. You could put some parts together, but as far as building an AK in a cave or in some Mama San's hut during Vietnam and all the BS that you hear about that, it is completely fabricated and nonsense. Even those guys, that they talk about in, Afghanistan and stuff, they might be assembling AKs there, but they're not machining parts and, that type of thing, so that's one of the biggest, one of the big rumors or wives' tales or urban legends you hear about the AKs. They're actually pretty complicated to build, and they actually take a lot of labor and a lot of skilled labor to manufacture correctly. You can't just take an idiot monkey with a hammer to build them. Now, the AR-15, you can. I can build an AR-15 in my underwear while I'm sitting on the toilet. It's easy as hell to put together. An AK actually requires some skill and a gunsmith to actually build them correctly. So I think that's a big one.
In a press. You gotta have
a press. Yeah.
You have to have a hydraulic press. So Marco could probably talk more about that. I'm sure he's heard it a million times as well.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you a true story, quite honestly. Everybody remembers Inter-Ordnance, right? Or IO Inc.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And although I build a lot of when I used to write articles, I would embark on project like copy the recent modified Russian AKs or something like that, and they went through a modernization program a couple years back, and then they did the AK-12 and stuff. So I used IO Inc. Guns, let's say barreled actions and stuff, and then they built a gun around them. So I never had a problem with those. But apart from it, of course, if it's not shining like with the perfect bluing job and the rivets all that just perfect, of course it's total shit then. But according to the so-called AK, some of the people in the AK community, so they weren't pretty, but they worked those guns. But Uli gave everybody, the guy who owned the company, gave everybody a lifetime warranty. So if they, by any reason, they were dissatisfied with the gun, they would send the gun back, and he'll refund them their money. So needless to say, he accumulated a good number of returns. And so I decided to buy him out, buy all of them, like 105 rifles or something I bought from him. And then me and a friend of mine, gunsmith, who just passed away tragically about 4 weeks ago in Portage, Ohio, Jim Wizoon. We actually revived 96 of those guns that were better built, I guess, out of the parts that we were able to salvage. And then we just simply resold them and stuff. But so one would learn a lot from disassembling the gun and grinding all those or drilling those rivets out and then reassembling it properly. And so basically, yeah, it's not a gun that you're going to build on some hot with dirt floor and on your knee, and that requires
with a frying pan.
It requires a hydraulic press. It requires a bunch of other tools, including the fittings and stuff where you press the barrels in or press them out, or even adjusting the head space and stuff like that. It's gauges of all kinds. And even the riveting the gun together with the press, it requires numerous fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a specialty tool to put the trigger guard on. There's a tool that just rivets the trigger guard.
Exactly. So it's not the gun that it's so cheaply put together. But this perception of a big white hunter going through the jungles with all these natives in it, that kind of mentality that a lot of people here in the U.S. adopted, and not only U.S., but I think it's actually drifted from England with this, great savior and the bringer of everything that is good and technology and everything, by far for superior and to anybody else. But all of you guys just climb down at the palm tree and trying to make a gun. You can't make the good gun and stuff or anything good. So that needs to be kind of dispensed with, because AK is a difficult gun to build. It needed once you design something, then you got to put it into production. Then you have to come up with a so-called technological processes to build the sub-assemblies before you even put the gun together. So and so on and so on. And we're talking about when it was happening in mid 40s, where there were no CNC machines, and you can't just simply rewrite a program and have your trunnion or bolt carrier or bolt machined on a 6-axle CNC machine. No.
Yeah, lathes cutting them.
I was trying to find
lathe, the mills.
Oh yeah,
with the guy over there turning his little knobs and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
I mean
A lost art nowadays. A very lost art.
Yes, I agree.
Not a lot of people that can still do that. There's a few though. There's a few that can still do it. But I'll tell you, that's another misconception about AKs, and I don't know if necessarily it's a misconception. Even I think it's just as Americans we don't process or think about it. Everyone's like, well, AKs are so cheap. They're so cheap. We were bringing them in from Russia, from China for $150, $200. They don't cost anything. Production-wise, material-wise, yeah, maybe they didn't back then, but labor costs. So people always ask me, obviously, I don't know if we've been talking. I'm Andrew. I work at Century Arms, so that's why I know a lot about manufacturing. But people ask all the time,
You
why
knew a
are
lot
AKs
about
so
that
much
before
more
you were at
expensive?
Centuries too. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. But people ask, all the time, why are AKs so expensive? Why are they so expensive? Why are they so expensive? It's the labor involved in manufacturing them in the U.S. One thing that the Soviet Union had over us and other communist regime companies or countries, sorry, was their labor costs. I mean, they weren't paying these people shit if they were paying them anything. So, here in the US, we're having to pay people, even menial employees on a production line are making $25, $30 an hour. So just the labor intensity and the labor cost of manufacturing of an AK is so much higher than an AR-15. So as technology improves, we can make the parts for the AK cheaper. Obviously we were just talking about CNC machining, technology and stuff, to machine bolts, to machine trunnions, all that stuff is less expensive than it used to be. But the labor costs are way more expensive manufacturing in the U.S. than they were manufacturing in the Soviet Union and the former, Soviet bloc countries back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Even in Romania, I mean, the costs for manufacturing in Romania now have tripled in the last 5 years. And a lot of that has to do with, them joining the European Union, having to pay fair wages, having to add benefits and just different things in labor. So the labor costs on AKs are much, much higher than the labor cost for an AR. Like I can literally hire temp employees, give them a couple hours of training and put them right on a production line to make an AR. An AK-47 isn't like that. So you have to have skilled labor.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to use all the jigs and stuff and riveting and all that stuff. Yeah, it's different story nowadays.
you hit on
So-
another one a minute ago there, Andrew, about it being indestructible, that you never have to clean the AK. It doesn't require any maintenance.
Yeah.
You guys address that.
Obviously,
I fucking love it, that one.
yeah. I mean, they're tough. Don't get me wrong. And I shoot my AKs and I rarely clean them. I'm not going to lie to you people. I clean them every couple years, maybe. I mean, I got a gun that's got probably 30,000 rounds to it. I've never cleaned it. But I lubricate it. I grease it. Because you don't oil an AK, you grease an AK, people. But they will stop working if they dry out enough. And that's just a simple fact.
And
that's
if they
with
get
every
enough
firearm.
sludge in them.
Yeah, you build enough sludge up and you don't lubricate it and you don't blow the gunk out it every once in a while, at least wipe it off with a rag, you're going to get some problems. And those are exasperated sometimes by dirty ammo, by different types of ammo. But again, yeah, they're not maintenance free. They are definitely a lot less maintenance than some of the other guns out there, but they're certainly not maintenance free.
Yeah. So one thing to remember would be that any gun is a machine. Like a machine, and it's a single
parts.
It's a single piston, single cylinder, internal combustion engine. Okay,
Yeah.
That doesn't convert the energy into rotating momentum, but rather creates a pressure to launch the projectile. And in the semi-automatic version of it, all the things work. The springs compress and send it forward, and then the pressure puts it back, and so on and so on. And as a machine, and we know that even the toughest of cars or trucks or excavators, something will always break. If you don't, and it would break sooner if you don't keep up with the regular maintenance. Now, AK is just by the design of it, it's being spread, and that the all-encompassing receiver is actually designed such that some of the contaminants and some of the stuff that being introduced into action can simply just fall in there and just kind of rattle in it while the main engine is actually working, and everything is working. So, I mean, oftentimes people would even find spent casing behind uh, the bolt carrier that's been smashed against the rear trunnion with the bolt carrier stuff and just kind of rests there.
Yeah, or you get
And
like the pieces and fragments from the shells that get back there, and then over time they build up, and then you think your AK
it
is not
is
working anymore. Take it
it
apart.
right. It's actually generally recommended not to put any kind of freaking grease in there. You know, just talking from a guy who's been trained by the Soviet military. It's actually the gun oil is preferred, and then when you grease it up, when you oil it, you take a clean rag and you wipe it down to almost dry feeling, which would leave about a micron thin a layer of oil on the surfaces. And if it goes dry, I mean, my gun was kind of dried, and we were in gunfights, in high intensity gunfights, and I never had a problem with my particular gun being overheated or jammed or something happened to it because of the lack of lubrication. However, if there's nothing impossible, right, in this world. And if you put forth a goal, set a goal for yourself to do something harmful to your gun, I'm pretty sure one day, if you being persistent, you will succeed. And so I would never say never, but like I said, AK being a composition of mechanisms and systems, just like the internal combustion engine, basically called a machine. You would, it would fail in some cases, and to say it's indestructible is just simply not the case. I mean, obviously, like likes of Izhevsk manufacturing plant will have a two-story building, and you toss the gun off the two-story building, and then have a Ural truck, the troop carrier truck, run it over, and some guy runs up to it, racks it, and then fires it. Yeah, but maybe if you do 10 times or 20 times, and then finally will deform the receiver where the bolt carrier would not operate. You might bend a barrel, God knows, whatever. So you eventually will damage it. But I mean, what is the probability of it's happening 10 times? Is what I'm saying. So it is tough. It's built to a certain standards where they drop from 1.5 meters in the concrete with the magazine down on the side, on top, and so on and so on. And like imitating possible scenarios of a combat where maybe a explosion, the wave or whatever you call it, might toss a soldier somewhere against the concrete or something, or the guy will drop the gun somewhere, but it will continue to work. Yeah, it's definitely built to withstand a combat type of abuse. But like I said, I mean, if you set a goal to destroy your AK, you will succeed eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as far as battle rifles go, I don't think there's one tougher, but that doesn't mean it's indestructible. You can still break it, and they do still break.
Sure.
So definitely, I mean, they'll survive stuff that I've never thought they would. Rounds exploding inside of them. Double feed. Just I've seen them some horrendous things happen to AKs, and they just dust off and keep going. But I've seen them break. They do break, and that's just the facts of life. Again, they're a machine, just like Marco said. And if you abuse it enough, it's eventually going to let you down.
There's a recent video that I stumbled across on YouTube. Is like,
oh no,
will the AK fire without what? how does it translate it? I guess, what parts will AK fire without? And the guy eventually takes the dust cover off, squeezes the round. He takes recoil spring out, and then he, chambers the round. And of course, he has to hold it like this to fire it so it doesn't fly back. Then he took a gas tube out. The guy fired. And he took the stock out. Of course, that would fire. That would not have effect. Then the pistol grip. And so on and so on. I mean, after a while, that thing just looked like a
It's a barreled action firing.
Barreled action firing. And, he would do that. Obviously, it's hard to match something like this, but it's just because it's designed that way.
Yeah.
Hey, Leadheads, just here to talk to you and tell you a little bit about our product. Seal 1 CLP Plus is a bio-based, non-toxic product. It comes in a paste, liquid, aerosol, and pre-saturated bore-specific patches called seal skins. They all do the same thing, just different methods of application. The best way to use our product is to start with a clean firearm. There's two reasons why I say that. First, you start with the Seal 1 CLP Plus by field stripping your firearm and covering the entire firearm inside and out, bore, barrel, everything with the Seal 1 CLP Plus. You'll see how easy it spreads around. You'll want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you come back and you want to wipe it all off. So you see how easy it is to put on and remove. And the second reason we say to use a clean firearm is you'll find that it's not clean. We're going to pull out more carbon that's been left behind with whatever product you've been using before. Okay, it takes about 3 cleanings, so I like to say a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot, just normal usage before the Seal 1 CLP Plus has removed whatever product that you were using before and has seasoned the firearm. It's kind of like breaking in a cast iron skillet. And after that first cleaning, you will notice a difference. And with each successive cleaning, you will find that it gets easier and easier to clean. Seal 1 CLP Plus is a dry lubricant and is designed to work as such. You will find that malfunctions are virtually eliminated when used properly because the majority of all malfunctions are caused to carbon buildup. And with the Seal 1 CLP Plus, the carbon does not build up. Seal 1 CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, polymers, rubber, wood, and leather. Seal 1 CLP Plus is a one-and-done formulation. No other products are required or needed to clean and lubricate and protect your firearm. That's why we say Seal 1 and done. Seal 1 is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
So I did a little poll. I had some time to do a little poll before we did this, and I asked some of our former guests that have been on the show, experts, AK experts, a few questions about some common myths or misconceptions that they've heard. So everybody knows Brian Keeney with Occam Defense. And of course everybody's busy, so they just texted me a couple of things here. So Brian's was kind of like what Andrew said, they can be built in caves, poor tolerances, badly built are some of the main misconceptions that he's heard. We've kind of addressed some of those. Joe Moe with Atlas Defense, biggest one that he's heard is that they aren't accurate. This one comes from Jim Fuller, one of America's foremost AK builders and aficionados, been on the show several times. Jim says one of the biggest myths and misconceptions that he's heard about the AK is that anybody can build one. That's a good myth. That's a good misconception because I'm telling you, AKs just aren't that easy to home build. Got to have the right equipment, got to have the right tools, need the right setup, and we're going to go into more details about that. John Holton, M13 Industries. They can never break. They are inaccurate. They are the enemy's rifle, which we kind of did an episode on that, Andrew, a while back.
Yeah, we did. They're the bad guy gun.
And I got a couple of more. Chad, your buddy Chad, being new to the AK world, I kind of wanted to get his feedback on some things that he's been hearing. And his was that they're the bad guy guns and they're not accurate. Since he's been with you guys there at Century. Those are the top things that he's heard. I got a couple of more out, so if they come in during the show, I'll read those. But that's kind of from previous guests that we've had on the AK Corner. So, Marco, go ahead.
All right, so let's address some of those. All right, the David 40 is my witness, right? Me, David 40, and Mark Krebs, who's a renowned gunsmith in the AK sphere. We went in 2001. We went to Russia to meet right before, a couple days before, actually September 11th happened. We went to meet Kalashnikova at his summer home, and then prior to going to Izhevsk, we actually met with a friend of mine who was a commander of a quick reaction force, like a SWAT, like police, quick reaction force.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually went to his headquarters where they were actually on duty, waiting for a call in case, if there's hostages or robberies or something like that. And his squad there, which were all this, there's a variety of guns they had with them. They were all had AKs on them and body armor and everything. They were ready to go, waiting for something to happen. They're on duty, on call. And they just, all of them, literally just returned from their latest adventure in Chechnya. And second Chechen campaign was going on at that time. And David 40 asked a question of one of the guys holding AK-74M, the black-clad, folding stock AK-74. He asked him, says, how accurate is this thing? And so I had to translate, and they all kind of laughed and tell him, says. And, one of the guys tells the guy that David asked. And that dude goes like, well, while we're in the checkpoint, he says, I entertained myself by shooting the wires off the telephone pole. So two things, right? One is the gun performed, right? But my takeaway from it was this guy was an excellent shooter. Okay, yeah.
There's Marco with Mikhail.
Yeah, a couple days later,
Yeah.
And literally the towers were coming down as that picture was taken.
Oh, were they really? Oh, shit.
Yeah. So anyway, and so
I have that book. I thought I did. I finally found my book, Marco. I knew I had it somewhere. I'm in the middle of moving, and I was packing up all my books, and I was like, there it is. I knew I'd read that book somewhere.
Yeah, well, thanks, appreciate it. But anyway, so I walked away from it saying that this dude was sharp enough shooter to actually see the wires, right, at some distance. And, wire, what's the cross-section of it is, let's say, a quarter of an inch, maybe.
Yeah,
right,
probably closer to a 16th or an 8th.
Right, and then he was shooting those things off the telephone pole, and it doesn't matter. So let's say telephone pole is what, maybe 30 feet tall or some shit like that, and then he was some distance away. Let's say it was, like anywhere between 20 yards and maybe a little more, whatever. But quarter of an inch or whatever, eighth of an inch wire to see that. You got to be a sharp. You got to be you have a vision like a hawk. But in any case, what I'm leading to is that in 100%, that's how ballsy I'm going to be in this one. In 100% cases, the gun accuracy potential is by far higher than of a shooter.
Oh, I'll agree with that, yeah.
So to say the AK is not accurate is because you're a shitty shooter.
There you go.
Or you know what? I'll say it a nice way, Marco. I'll say it a nicer way. You don't know how to use the platform properly.
Correct. So you might have
So,
been trained on something else, and
yeah.
here's you take you out of your comfort zone, and you say, "Oh, I can hit the broadside of the barn with this thing." That's because you're not trained on it enough.
Yeah.
People
It's
who
like
master.
it's like I say, like an AR-15 is like having an automatic car. An AK is like having a stick shift. It takes more skill, but you can get more out of it. You can make it perform better if you have more skills.
Correct. And also, we often compare the two things, right? So we compare uh, a 20 or whatever was the original M16 length of a barrel, right?
Yeah.
To a 16 and a quarter barrel length of an AK-47. That's two different things. Then we compare it a 30 caliber
The round,
rifle
yeah.
to a 223, to 5.56 caliber rifle, and saying, oh, accuracy. All right, well, chop it up. Let's compare M4 to AK-74. That would be a little bit better comparison.
Yeah.
Or the full length, like let's say M16A4 to an RPK gun, RPK 74. That would be a proper comparison.
Yeah.
And then you compare it. But the running, no, I shouldn't say it like this. I apologize. But let's say argue otherwise until you blue in the face is completely useless and inaccurate. So if you're going to compare the oranges, compare them to oranges, not to apples.
Absolutely. But,
So the argument of an AK is inaccurate is inaccurate.
Exactly.
and to Andy's point is, you've been shooting Winchester, 1894 model all your life, in like say 30-30, and then somebody gives you, let's say K98 Mauser and 8mm. You'll be like lost for don't know how to manipulate it, whatever, and then the geometry of a gun is different and stuff, and unless you get behind it 100% and master the platform, you won't be able to score the same as you're doing with the rifle that you had for a long time and completely conquered, owned it and loved it. So
great point.
That's that argument is not withstand any kind of fucking test.
No.
So I'm a bad host, and we were, almost an hour into this, and I didn't introduce our guest, but I think most of you adamant listeners know exactly who's on the show, who's talking right now. But my co-host for the AK Corner, Marco Vorbiv, ladies and gentlemen, author of the definitive book on the AK-47, Survival and Evolution of the World's Most Prolific Gun. You can get that on Amazon, and eventually, he's going to come out with another version of this, and he'll make some money.
No, actually, no. Actually, the next book will be on sniper rifles.
Oh, okay. Have we done an episode on sniper rifles yet?
We've done on the AK snipers, remember, but we can do more.
Okay.
We can do.
That could be a good upcoming.
Some other play.
Yeah, a good upcoming episode. And then also join us, ladies and gentlemen. Again, longtime lead head, longtime guest on the show. He's worn many hats throughout the years. He is currently with Century Arms, ladies and gentlemen. It's none other than Andrew Brenneman, also known as Drew.
Howdy.
Thanks.
And this will be, for you people that watch a lot, this will be the last time I come alive from the bunk beds.
Yeah, he's typically got bunk beds in the background there with him. But
I was like so curious, and I employed every ounce of my willpower not to ask you about that.
So my office in my old house is also my guest bedroom. If y'all don't know, I live in Nashville. I live about 40 minutes away from where the lead quarters. But a lot of people like to come visit me. So in my spare bedroom, I put bunk beds.
That's a good
I've been
point.
there many a
Just 'cause
time.
I have a lot of folks that like to come and visit. But I recently bought a new house and moved. So this is the last one from Nashville. I'll be coming live from Hendersonville from now on.
Last one from the cracker box, as we call
Last one from the cracker box, baby.
the pad there. So this is a historic episode in that regard. So Andrew, thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy as crap with the move, the baby on the way, little junior coming.
Oh,
Any day,
All
like
right.
literally, I could get a text while we're on the phone. That's how close he is.
wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Got a little man coming.
Yeah, so
Uncle Marty.
It's not a number one, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's
is
my
it?
first kid. Oh, yeah.
Oh, your life is about to change. Like
I know it, man. I'm
dramatically.
pumped. I'm ready for it.
It's for
my
the
life
better.
is about to
Yeah,
change.
for the-
What are you talking about?
Marty's life is about to change.
Oh, what's happening with Marty?
Uncle Marty.
Uncle Marty.
Oh, okay.
He's about to get him a new nephew.
Yeah, baby.
Are you guys related? No.
Nah.
Might as well be, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But no,
I better be the
congratulations.
godfather.
I had two boys, and I tell you what, I mean, they just awesome. And they by just proxy, being the dad, they get you involved in so many things that you in the past didn't do. I love it. I loved it, and I can't wait for my grandkids. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how long I'll be around for my grandkids, but
I've got the
maybe
grandkids
one day.
too. I've got two little granddaughters,
That's right.
both around a year old. So yeah, loving it. Love
Wow.
the
Big
little
times,
pitter
big
patter of
times.
feet. But so guys, thank you. I know everybody's got a lot going on. Drew will not be at NRA because of things.
Yeah, obviously having a baby at any moment.
So we won't see him there, but we will. Again, I mentioned we will be at booth 11531, Pioneer Arms Corp. Be there with CJ and the crew. Evan will be there with me. We're going to have the studio set up. Again, I don't know the extent of the studio, but we'll have it set up somehow, some way. And if you're going, come by and see us, because I'll have some giveaways for you lead heads, and then Pioneer Arms is going to be giving away a gun every single day.
Every day.
Every day, maybe more. You just never know with Crazy J.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
As he says. So come by the booth once or twice a day, every single day, and there's going to be something new and exciting going on. And you never know who's going to be at the booth recording with us too. So.
Marty, you do get a lot of good folks in your interviews during NRA and SHOT, man. I've always impressed by the caliber of guests you get.
Well, it's always a good time, and I enjoy doing it. And unfortunately, you're not going to be there. I would love to have you on. Marco, you're not going to be there either, right?
No, one of the Verobians will be, but that's not me. My son is going to.
Oh, is he gonna come by the booth?
I'm pretty sure he will, but
Brendan?
he'll be actually working. So.
Oh, okay. So is one of your companies that we've talked about in the past going to be represented there?
No.
Oh, he's with the outdoor channel.
He is with the Outdoor Sportsman's Group. Yep.
That's right. Well, I would love for him to come by and do an interview, because I've never had them on the show, so that would be great. Let him know they're welcome to come by.
No, you had him last year with me, right?
Yeah, but he didn't talk about the outdoor channel. So anyway, they're welcome to come join us and talk about their latest and greatest that they got going on too.
Whiskey River Beef, farm to table with a twist. Come along with us on a quest towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production and fostering a robust local food source to promote good health. Stock up with premium Tennessee beef, unparalleled in flavor and tenderness. You can be confident that you're receiving beef with no added growth hormones or implants. Always pasture-raised, locally USDA processed, and shipped straight to your home. Whiskey River Beef is grass and whiskey mash fed and finished, and is at least 14 days dry-aged to enhance the tenderness and give you the most robust flavor imaginable. Go to whiskeyriverbeef.com today to order. Visit us on Instagram at Whiskey River Life and on Facebook at Whiskey River Beef LLC. Whiskey River Beef is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
Myths about the AK. Let's continue. What other myths, misconceptions, urban legends have we heard about the AK?
Andy brought that up, and you might have mentioned that. It's like you don't ever have to clean it.
Yeah.
You just, or like, to clean it, you just fill up your bathtub with Ballistol and shit like that. Caros, you dip it in there and stuff. I'm listening to it going, oh my God. I mean, the freaking military just crying for people like that. It's like some drill sergeant is like looking at you cleaning your gun and just fucking crying, it would fucking kill you. Just and again, it's a mechanism and machine that needs to be maintained, needs to be clean. But yes, AK, we would go and sometimes, like Andy said, if you can't go to the time or place does not accommodate you with the niceties of your garage or workshop where you can take it apart and clean every possible component and stuff. But sometimes just an extra lube, give it to it, and wiping down the internal components real quick while you still strip it, and that would be enough. But like I said, by design, because it's so the receiver is basically is like a boat, so to speak. It's got plenty of places for the contaminants to accumulate and drop into, and so it might be a little bit more tolerant to the contamination and the other than the other guns that are a little bit more tightly fitted. Yes, that might be it. But no freaking ballistol, no freaking 50-gallon drum of fuel of diesel, full of diesel fuel. That's another one I heard that in Afghanistan, majority didn't use 50-gallon diesel fuel. They just dip it in there a couple times. What Mujahideen would do with the 50-gallon diesel fuel is sell it as soon as they can at the higher freaking price to somebody. And that would power a generator that would probably provide some kind of electricity in a tiny little village somewhere up in the mountains. That's what they would do with 50-gallon drum full of diesel fuel. So the way the guns were issued with the cleaning kits and the cleaning rod, it was right on the gun, either in the buttstock or under the barrel is cleaning rod. God issued you with 10 tools right here in your hands, 2 hands with 10 fingers. And very basic instruction will teach you how to clean your freaking gun.
Everybody should get on a routine like I do, Marco, is, once a month, I make it a ritual to watch Red Dawn and then break out all my guns. And that's when I do my cleaning, watching Red Dawn.
It sounded so fucking dirty to me right now.
Yeah,
Right now,
I love
that once a year you turn on some kind of gun porno, and then you whip out your gun, and I was like,
right.
oh my God,
and you oil it up, Marty. Marty whips
Right.
out his gun and oils it up while he's watching a movie.
and lubricate it. So I'm like, what are you talking about? We were talking about like guns and stuff, like,
Marty's talking about his gun, not his rifle.
I don't know where you lost me on that one. I thought I was pretty clear on that. Yeah. All
I was
right.
trying to watch Red Dawn last night. My old lady shut me down, Marty.
I know you were looking at baby clothes with Red Dawn on it.
Yeah, onesies, Red Dawn onesies. I got some on order. We're good to go. We're covered.
You can get some custom ones. Talk to Danny. He'll make you some.
Yeah.
Custom.
Oh yeah. Dipstick Dizzy Whistle will get you covered up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what's another
myth?
one I was thinking of?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh shit! It just escaped me.
So while you're thinking of that,
Yeah, go for it.
one that I've seen floating around, and I don't know, how prevalent this is, but some people may be under the misconception that Mikhail Kalashnikov made the AK himself, but he was backed by an entire country, a whole team behind him during the development of this. And he like you said, he took some ideas from this and that, and then he came up with the AK-47. Now, Marco brought up in one of our previous episodes, was it Sadayev, the one that passed away?
Sadayev, it's the designer of a PPS-43.
Yeah.
Submachine gun, considered to be a best submachine gun of World War II. And plenty of stamping going on. Then the entire gun is stamped except the 2 items in it. And so he was the clear winner of the first stage, but he passed away from a stomach ulcer, believe it or not. Because what they did was they sent him back into the Leningrad, which was under siege, and of course the nutritional regimen that he was put on, like everybody else, under siege. There's close to 1 million people died of starvation and bombardment during the World War II. So it caused his stomach to, he got the ulcer and eventually killed him. So he died on the ripe age of 28 or 29 years old. And with him, he took the designs for his gun, which some designers saw an opportunity to take some of the good solutions that he used and incorporate into their guns. And it was Kalashnikov who did probably benefited the most, which basically land him in the leading position. To say that the whole country was behind, no, he's definitely had a team of people.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the whole country being worked for him. I mean, there were.
Well, I didn't mean it that way, Marco. I meant the government was, funding this and behind it, and had the full.
Well, the same way as the other 12 submissions.
Yeah.
And in some cases, with the Dektorov and Tokarev and all those guys, Simonov, all those guys were already famous gun designers, and with the cloud, carrying that cloud with him. Whereas he was just, and they were all like freaking generals and colonels and whatnot in the military rank, where Kalashnikov was the senior sergeant and the young kid that never went to college. And so to say that they basically were backed by the government because it was a government competition, but they were all funded and supported equally.
Yeah. Hey, did you watch that? I think it was called the AK-47 movie. I can't remember what it was called.
I watched a trailer and I puked a little, threw up in my mouth.
I was going to ask you.
I turned it off after about 10 minutes. I tried to watch it and I just couldn't.
Yeah,
okay. I haven't watched it yet.
It's so cheaply made, and the actual what do you call it? The actual script was copied from Wikipedia page.
Oh,
I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, they could have done it so much better, but they did. I mean, they basically took the Wikipedia page and made the original script from it. It was all fucked.
It's like a shitty Hallmark movie, Marty.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's literally it's literally like on par with like a shitty Hallmark movie.
Like
it's
a
bad. Like I
movie.
literally could only watch like 10 minutes, and I just had to turn it off. It was so bad.
Well, that answers my question about
it's literally like one of those like Spanish novellas or whatever, where the guy with the thin mustache and like the chest, the unbuttoned shirt, goes and kills somebody, then he turns around and grabs the
woman and kisses her,
mamacita, and kisses her and let her drop and stuff and keeps on going. It's kind of like the same way. What a dumbass freaking effort on the Russian movie industry part. So anyway, so let's
They
talk
just pick it up.
about famous thing like in Afghanistan, the Russian troops would just drop the AK-74 and get the AKMs because they like the 30 caliber better than the 545.
All right.
Have you heard about that one?
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it in previous episodes, but yeah, expound on that.
Well, in the same thing goes in Vietnam. All the Green Berets will drop their freaking what was the you know whatever M1 A2s whatever I mean M4 M16
M6.
A1s and pick up the AKs off a dead VC and just go. You fucking lose your gun in the military. They will bend you over a freaking barrel and they take turns freaking just anal raping you for what you've done.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big no. You're fucking responsible for that thing. So, and it's even double. It was double in the Soviet Union because in your freaking military ID, there was a serial number of the gun that was issued to you by the motherland. And God forbid you did something with it where you freaking threw it away and pick up a KM because they had a harder hitting bullet. You know, I mean, people who freaking starting rumors like this because they have some kind of sick consumption in their brain that like a short circuited and that's the product that it came up with and they never served a freaking day in the military or they were never issued a gun in the military if they did serve. So, however, the 30 caliber AKs or 7.62 AKs were in fact issued to people. I got something anyway.
In
Messages
Afghanistan?
in Afghanistan. They were actually issued. They were issued to troops who were in the front line, mainly reconnaissance and scout troops, as well as special operations troops like Spetsnaz. The only reason that they were issued at the time is because that's the only gun that would work with PBS-1 suppressor and the only gun for which the subsonic ammunition was developed and issued, and that's the only one that was used apart, alongside the some of the pistols like APB, Stechkin, APB gun, PB pistol, which is both of them integrally suppressed pistols, to take out the freaking sentries and dogs and like special type of operations.
That's a great.
That's the only reason. Now, there was also a small number of so-called AKML for Lima. So that's a good question for the audience.
Okay.
Is what is the AKML?
Okay.
So we
Don't
know
answer it right now.
No, we know about the AKMS. That's a S standing for folding stock and stuff. So that's what the designation for underfolder was. But what is AKML?
There you go. There's a good trivia question. We'll probably assign a prize to that.
No. Let's do this. So Russians had the designation tradition to add an N at the end, like a AK, let's say RPKN. N stands for night vision. So there would be those 1PN 34, 1PN 58, the early Starlight type of night vision scopes, right? And N stands for ability to mount a scope on the side. Okay, that little thing. So AKML was the one with the basically AKM, 7.62 gun, fixed stock with the rail to mount a night vision scope on it. That was issued also with the cage, like SVD style or PKM style cage flash suppressor, which you would take the slant compensator off and put that on and put the things. By YL, that's what I want to know from audience for next time.
Okay. There you go.
AKML. Not why is it not AKMN like everything else, but why is it AKML?
And you email me your answers, talkinglead@gmail.com. Now that's not part of the giveaway of the Pioneer Arms 7.62 Grom that we're going to be giving away. It's not going to be the underfolder. It's going to be the one that has the RPK stock on it. And then it's going to have some cool stuff engraved on it as well. And that's going to be our June giveaway. And I gave you the questions last episode for that giveaway. And what you have to do is you have to go back to our previous episodes of the AK Corner this year. And CJ is wearing a sports team hat in one of those videos. I want to know what the sports team is. You have to tell me the sports team. And then, Marco, we did an episode on camouflage with Hank. And Hank talks about a book. He holds up a book, and it's a specific camo pattern. I want to know what the camo pattern is that the book's about, and then who the author is of that book. So that's part 2 of that. And then part 3 was we did an on-location interview. Marco and I went to Florida. We went to Pioneer Arms Corp, and CJ and Michael were with us during that interview. And there's something on Michael's microphone. I want to know what's on his microphone and specifically what it is of. So those are your questions. I submitted those last month's episode. I told you what that is. So you've got one more month to submit those. And you put AKK June contest in the subject. You email those to talkinglead@gmail.com. And all the correct answers will be eligible to win this Pioneer Arms Corp with the RPK stock, the Grom 7.62x39. Probably not going to get this magazine, but it'll come with Pioneer Arms Suite magazine. So that's the giveaway for June. Now, with Marco's question, just email those, talkinglead@gmail.com. State the question one more time about what the L stands for.
Well, first, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go to Amazon. I'm going to buy one of my books from Amazon.
You're going to buy one?
Yes. And I'm going to sign it. And I'm going to give it to a person who answers this question correctly. Why the AKM with the side rail, despite of a traditional designation N, like let's say RPKN, right? Why that gun was actually designated as AKML.
Okay. And then email that to me, talkinglead@gmail.com, and put Marco's question in the subject. If you don't put that in the subject, then I'm not going to be able to find it, and you won't be eligible for the autographed copy of Marco's book, the AK-47, the Survival and Evolution of the World's Most Prolific Gun. So that's awesome. And mine's autographed. It's autographed twice. So I got it right there. Look at that. That's how you know it's authentic. I can tell you if it's authentic or not because I got his autograph right there, and you signed another picture in there somewhere. So that's cool. That's an awesome giveaway, Marco. Thank you for that.
All right.
Well, let's do this. Let's do some giveaways for this episode, and then we'll wrap it up because Andrew's got to go.
Me too. Actually, I'm already running late.
All right, let's do the giveaway. So for the Seal 1 gun cleaning kit, I'm going to take all our winners from Rumble. So all the people who have subscribed to Rumble, that's where you're going to be eligible. So I'm going to go to Rumble right now.
Wait, Marty, was there any questions at all?
No, because we had to change the subject. So everything was on the tanks, and I'm going to save those for when we do tanks.
Yeah, because I was looking forward to the bullpup tank action question.
Yeah, I know you were.
Bullpup.
Bullpup.
Who is that? Something.
P. Hurst.
Yeah, P. Hurst.
Yeah, P. Hurst. Brandon Hurst. Yeah, he's a card.
All right, he deserves a gift every time.
Well, if he gets picked. Tank episode.
I'm gonna throw this thing. There's actually somewhat successful bullpup design that was used by Z Germans during the World War II. Z Germans. And the biggest folly of all bullpup guns, which renders them useless shite, is actually taken out on that particular gun. And it was actually, but it was too complicated to make, and they didn't make a lot of them. But what was that gun? That's another question.
And that's just for B. Hurst. So.
Yeah.
All right. The Seal 1 kit, cleaning kit, goes to S. Belk Nap 69. SBELK NAP 69. And these are coming from Rumble. So you followed us on Rumble a few days ago. So email me, talkinglead@gmail.com, and you win the complete gun cleaning kit. It comes with this, the rags. It's got a paste. It's a complete kit. So it's going to be really nice. And you can use that to doctor up your dirty AKs, clean your little piggies with that. And then for our Mission First Tactical dump tray giveaway, I'm just going to go through here. And this is, again, Rumble and subscriptions. And looks like we've got 10 Man 4X. TINMAN 4X. You win the dump tray with the AK Corner logo. It's not going to be this tray. There's we got a new model out. I haven't received it yet, but I know a lot of you lead heads have gotten yours. So you got to tell me what you want also. So if I pick you, you email me, tell me what you won, and we're going to need your address. And then for the Pioneer Arms Corps, it's going to be some sort of little swag pack giveaway, patches, maybe a hat, maybe a shirt. Is going to be MANUMCA, MANUMCA. You are the winner of the Pioneer Arms Corps swag pack. So there you go. Looks like everybody's left the show. So they just left me.
I'm here.
There's Andrew. Okay. I think Marco's gone too. So I guess that does it for this episode. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate all the emails, all the feedback. And if you're going to NRA, come visit us and go and support all those that make this show possible. Pioneer Arms Corps, obviously. Go follow them on the grams at Pioneer Arms USA. Visit their website, pioneerarmsusa.com. And they've got some like blemished guns there you can get really good deals on. So always be checking their website. And they just came out with the new Hell Puppy, which is shorter than the Draco, Andrew.
No, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
So it's going to be
it's going to be loud.
Yeah, it can be. Definitely. It can be loud. But Andrew, Century Arms, you guys go visit them at Century Arms, I think is their Instagrams. Chad's kind of over all that now, so you guys should be watching that, watching Canic. We just did the show on the TTI combat. Yeah, combat.
Yep.
Huh?
And of course, Century Arms and Canic will be at NRA as well. So if any of you guys are going out to NRA, make sure you stop by and check out the Century Arms and Canic booth.
Yeah, and they're going to be over at the lead quarters too. So Chad and the gang are going to be coming over there. Is Adam going to be back from Japan by then?
Oh yeah, he'll be at NRA for sure. Giant will be there.
All right. And then Mission First Tacticals at Mission First Tactical on the grams, and then use the code LEADHEAD to get 20% off missionfirsttactical.com. Any of their products, their new holsters, their drinkware. You see me using their drinkware all the time. Got the big drinky drinks here. And then Seal One, you go to seal1.com, use the code LEADHEAD to get 25% off any of your purchases at seal1.com. So I want to see those questions. You come in, you send them in to talkinglead@gmail.com to win this big giveaway in June. So the Grom 762 by Pioneer Arms Corp. Until then, Leadheads, I'll be looking for those emails and be looking at those comments on the social medias. So we are out, Andrew.
All right. Thanks, guys. Got a whole tube of silver dollars I forgot I had.
Nice.
Can you hear me now better?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. That's
all
good.
right. There we go. That's it. I shouldn't fuck with it
Yeah.
anymore?
Don't fuck
Working.
with it. You're good. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, like loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. Well, then let's fucking do it while everything's working.